What is up, everybody? This is Steve with All Dogs Off-Road, and today we are doing a spherical bearing replacement on my Radflo Titan Swap coilovers. The Radflos are a little over 2 years old, and they've seen quite a few very brutal winters, lots of salt, lots of abuse, so figured it was time to get them swapped out. So I'm going to throw in some FK stainless steel spherical bearings for the lower mounts, and hopefully it should quieten my ride up a little bit because the old ones are pretty old and be an easy process. So I'm going to take you along with me. All right, now that the wheel and tire is off the vehicle, the next step is going to be to loosen these 14 mil upper bolts and then take a 21 mil onto the bottom here and zip this off, and we'll be able to pull the coilover on out. And out she comes. So we are ready to take this over to the workbench and get these bearings swapped out. All right, now that we have this thing on the workbench, you can see that the old bearing's got a good amount of play to it. It's pretty loose. The driver's side will undoubtedly be worse. So let's break into this and see what we can find out. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna need to do here is remove the misalignment spacers. Misalignment spacers press in, they don't really press in, but they go into the bearing, create the correct width and correct inner diameter that you need for your shock mount bolt. All right, so to get the misalignment out, sometimes it'll come out by hand, sometimes it won't. Very simple process. All you need to do is grab a vise, throw it in the vise grip here, clamp it down, and give it some taps. Boom, perfect. So out it comes. Old misalignment spacer is out, and we are good to move on to the next step. You technically only need to take out one side of the one side misalignment spacer because you can, get the rest done without it. But just for sake of the video, I'll punch out both sides for you here. The best way to do it is to find a socket or a sleeve that is the correct inner diameter, and you'll be good to go. Perfect. So we have a sleeve here that'll work, and then just like before, pop that other one out and you're good to go. Sorry if you got a lot of shaky cam going on here. It's I have the camera mounted on the desk, but we'll take you over here, and you can see the misalignments are out, and we just have the spherical bearing in there. So the next step is going to be to remove this clip that you can see here with a C-clip remover, and then we'll be able to take the actual bearing out. Hopefully we get this first shot. Clamp the snap ring, and there's a lot of grime in here, so hopefully it'll come out without too much issue. And there we go. In the trash can it goes. That's fun. Okay, so the camera's probably gonna fall over, but we took out the other snap ring, and we're just grabbing a hammer to coax this thing to come out. Yep, it's coming. Almost there.
There you go.
And there we go. So we'll grab the camera here. Some purist in the racing scene is going to see me do this and just berate me. All right, so out comes the old bearing. As you can see, this thing is disgusting.
It's trash.
Let's see if we can press probably.
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe.
So there you go. Really nasty, really old. So,
Go.
All right, guys, we're taking this thing over to the press. We got it seated, but we want to make sure we do this right. We're gonna throw in one clip just to make sure we don't go too far. And if your clips are in bad shape and you mangle them on the way out, you can replace them, but ours are in good shape, so we're just gonna throw these back in. And clean out the grooves as well, and it'll seat quite easily, as you can see right there, and we are good to go.
All right, it's live.
All right, guys, take one. Let's see if my face gets exploded off. Oh, it's coming. So remember to take it easy. Once you feel it touch the circlip, you'll know that you can stop. We probably have another millimeter or so to go. Keep coming. There we go. Once you feel that resistance, you can just back off and you know you're in good shape. All right, guys, that process was pretty painless. So now we're gonna throw the snap ring back in and make sure we're have some good contact. Good, and we are ready to throw this back on the truck. All right, guys, I say all right, guys, a lot.
It's all right.
So new bearing is in, the misalignments are back in, and as you can see, we have no play. This is not going anywhere. Much, much, much more snug than our old one was. Just for reference, I'll put this in. And you can see that we are all over the place here. So if you have noisy Radflos, maybe this is the issue. We'll do a post-mortem.
Go.
All right, guys, we have the Radflo upper mount in, and we're getting ready to throw the lower mount in. So we are using a straight shank 14 mil bolt, which is a superior option to the shanked Nissan bolt, which can cause some clunking with the misalignment spacers. And we've also added, as you can see here, if you want to zoom in, we've added a weld washer onto these arms here. We'll throw up a picture on the screen of Kyle's Titan Swap arms, which are going on very soon. You can see that the factory Nissan Titan arms do not have a very, very accurate 14 mil hole. It's probably closer to 15, actually, maybe even 16. So with this weld washer closed up here, true 14 mil, we shouldn't have any unnecessary movement here. So now we're getting ready just to throw this on. And one thing that you will notice is that when you have the new misalignments, it's going to be tricky to get to get everything in for the first time because of how tight the new bearing is. But just get a bolt or a screwdriver, throw it in there, play around with it until you can get the arm up, just like that. And then we grab the bolt. You can technically come in from either direction. I usually come in from behind on here, and might have to recruit Kyle's help in a second, but yeah. And what do you know, it's in. No bad words were said. All right, we have everything zipped back together and we are on our way to a test drive. We will report back. What is up, everybody? As usual, I'm editing the video and I forgot to give you guys a post-install update, so here you go. Install went pretty easily, very, very straightforward if you have a press, and it quieted my ride up significantly. If you have Radflos that are relatively old and you feel like they have some slop to them, or any clunks, definitely look into swapping out your lower bearings. It did wonders for me, and I believe that the Radflo bearings that come from the factory are regular steel. I could be wrong, don't quote me. I'll happily eat my words on this. But I went with stainless steel, and living not on the West Coast was a fantastic upgrade for me, and I would definitely recommend it for you as well. So definitely take that into consideration. And also, if you're having noise in your Radflos, look into weld washers on your lower control arms. The holes that are on the lower shock mounts on your lower control arms are far too big from the factory. And since you don't have that rubber bushing, there's nothing to isolate that noise and that slop. So if you are running Radflos or any style racing coilover that has a spherical bearing on the bottom, definitely look into weld washers, and if their coilovers are older, definitely look into swapping out the bearings. So thank you so much for watching, guys. As usual, if you have any questions, just ask in the comments and I'll do my best to answer all of them. As always, this is Steve. I'll catch you in the next one.